Hey everybody, it's Mandy from Tropical Forge. So I haven't given you an update in a few days. Zuzu has been sick, so there wasn't really, frankly, a whole lot of packing going on because she wouldn't let me put her down. So she's feeling a little bit better. She's like, you know, cutting boxes and doing fun toddler things. So we'll see how this goes. She just is kind of running a fever and a little snotty, so I don't think it's anything like worrisome. We were down for a few days. So anyway, the basement is a horrendous mess. I have one more shelf of canned goods to get packed up. Mom's here today helping me, so we got the upstairs like vacuumed and mopped and did some dishes because, hey, Jamie, can you hold on a second? It was just horrendous. Like, I know when you're moving, like, everything is just horrendous, but it was getting to the point where I felt like it was inhabitable. Not really, but it was just a lot of mess that it was just adding to my anxiety. So Mom helped me get that stuff cleaned up. Zad's parents came over last night. We got the last of a couple hundred bars of soap labeled, so while we're moving, I can just fill orders as we need to. That was sitting on the island for like a week and was driving me crazy, so I was so glad to get that done. So today, Mom and I are going to finish packing up these canned goods. As of right now, at the other house, all of the canned goods are living in the living room, what's going to be our living room, which is the breezeway, but it has an electric baseboard heater in there, so it's very easy for us to keep it temperature controlled when we're not there. So we have it running at like 55 or whatever, which is fine. That's keeping obviously all the plumbing as it needs to be, keeping the plumbing where it needs to be. It's helping us keep the canned goods at a good temperature. I think I'm going to get a thermometer that I can measure from my phone, so that I can see if we can get the canned goods into the pantry before it's insulated. So the boys have the pantry pretty much done. They need to put the insulation up. We're hoping our electrician's gonna be able to come up with us in a couple weeks, get that all finished so that we can get our freezers out. Jamie. So that's going on there. We're planning this week to try to take up, we're hoping to take 4 trailer loads, so 2 trailers, 2 different days. And then we really want to get some work done here. We have a dumpster, so we really want to work on getting stuff in the dumpster that we don't need. We'd like to take some time to figure out up there, like while we're up there dumping trailer loads, figuring out where sheds are going to go and stuff like that. So I think that's what we're going to work on this week. And then I was talking to Missy today. As some of you know, she lives like 25 minutes from our new house. And she just got a few chicks. And then we were talking about starting plants. And I just kind of shared with her how I was sad because, you know, this is the time of year when I would be getting chicks and incubating chicks and planning plant starts and all these kinds of fun things. So I think what we're going to do is I have a shelf that's already set up with electric and grow lights and seed mats and all that kind of stuff. I think we might take that to her house so that she can babysit them for me while we're not in town. Keep them watered and all that kind of stuff. We can easily share the shelf. I have like 4 or 5 rows of mats and lights, so there should be plenty of space for us to share to get some plants started. So she offered to do that for me, which is fantastic. That'll be a huge blessing that I can get things like loofah gourd and peppers and things that have a longer grow time, get those things started. As far as chicks go, I may do some chicks this year. I mean, frankly, I have 70 chickens and they're all under 3. So I still have a really decent flock. We're getting, I don't know, maybe 12 or 15 eggs a day right now. They're starting to pick up. So I'll worry about chicks once we get there. It's not like I don't have fertilized eggs like 6 to 8 months out of the year. So I can definitely work on incubating some chicks once we get a little bit more settled. So I'm not super worried about trying to do that. But the plants, I mean, it's gonna be really hard for me to babysit plants here or there or whatever when we're kind of splitting our time and all of that at this point. So that'll be awesome to get that done. So that's where we're at. So we're going to try to get the basement packed up tonight. We have the other side of the basement to finish, which is basically a lot of Bud stuff. Bud has a lot of like art supply. I'm like tripping over everything. Art supplies, RC car supplies, things like that. So Missy and I had cleaned this out, I don't know, 6 months ago. So for the most part, there really shouldn't be much trash in here. Well, there's trash on the floor, but like there shouldn't be much that needs to get donated or whatever, because we pretty much already did that. So we pretty much just need to get all of this stuff packed up. My shelf with all of my roasters and steam juicer and stock pots and all that kind of stuff. I need to get all of that packed up. And then our fridges and freezers, as I've mentioned before, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 freezers and a fridge that are going to need to get up there. So we can't really take them up until the electrician's there, because at this point the pantry is not wired for as much stuff as we have. So we need to get our electrician up there to get that done, and then this stuff can go. An interesting balance when you have a pantry like this is trying to figure out what to leave. So one of these like moving homestead problems is that, you know, like I've mentioned before, we're not just like throwing all of our crap in a moving van and like magically we live in a new house the next day. So I did leave out like several canned goods. I left out like 2 crates worth of stuff. Obviously our kitchen pantry still has stuff in it, but a lot of what I have up there is like powders. I don't have a ton of other kinds of stuff in there because I had it in my other pantry. So it'll be nice to have kind of a blessing in disguise that our electrician can't get up there for a couple weeks because, you know, obviously we can just live out of these freezers. I mean, I have fruits and vegetables and a zillion kinds of meat and whatever, so we can live out of this stuff for the next month or so until we get the electric done up there. And then once these are out of here, we'll pretty much be living out of the upstairs fridge. Be kind of interesting. It'll be kind of like what normal people live like, I guess, like just having a fridge and a freezer and like a pantry. And it'll be fine. It'll help me use up some of that kind of stuff. So that'll be, you know, maybe a positive. So that is where we are at with our move. As far as some of you were following that I was having some trouble with the electric, we were denied electric the day that I called, which was 2 days before we closed. I told them, hey, we close in 2 days, and they sent out a letter that same day saying you were denied for it. It was so dumb. So I think I got that resolved. So electric was never like disrupted or anything at the other house. I think I got all of that worked out. We got the old propane tanks taken out because we'd like to get propane tanks brought in that we put underground. 500 or 1,000 gallons, we haven't decided yet. They just had like 2 small tanks above ground, which is not really what we wanted. So the other tricky thing is we are down to like 20% propane in the tank here. So we're gonna have to be very thoughtful about how we're using our propane. So at this house, in Lancaster, our hot water heater and our stove and then our backup heat is propane. But we didn't hook up the wood stove that we brought from the other house yet, so we're using that propane heat right now. Now, thankfully, we've had a pretty mild winter, so we haven't had to use the propane that much, but it's got to run our hot water heater and it runs our stove. So we're gonna have to be kind of creative here about making sure that we don't run out of propane, because I could just get it partially filled, but it's more expensive because it's winter. It'd be more expensive because I don't want to fill the whole thing and then only use like 50 gallons of it or something before we leave. So we're gonna have to be kind of creative about that. Other than that, everything is going pretty smoothly. We haven't had any mega drama since the jacuzzi backing up into the downstairs, which we still haven't worked out, so stay tuned. Got to talk to a plumber and get that resolved, but we have to be up there in order for the plumber to come. So that's where we're at right now, and we'll continue to keep you posted.